There is a secret hidden inside your fear, a secret that Al-Ghazali discovered when he walked away from everything he had ever built, not to escape life, but to finally understand it. 900 years ago, a man stood at the peak of success and felt nothing but emptiness. Today, we chase the same things he had: status, recognition, security, the approval of others. And like him, we discover the same truth. External success cannot cure internal fear. But what Al-Ghazali found in his darkness can light your way through yours. This is his secret. This is your path. We live in a world full of noise, notifications, deadlines, expectations, comparisons. 1,000 voices telling you who you should be, what you should achieve, how fast you should get there. And somewhere in all that noise, you hear the loudest sound of all. The fear inside your own mind. Fear of failing after you've tried so hard. Fear of disappointing your family, who sacrificed everything. Fear of not being enough, no matter how much you do. Fear of wasting your potential, whatever that even means. Fear of being judged for trying, and judged even more harshly for not trying at all. Fear of making the wrong choice. Fear of missing the right opportunity. Fear of being seen, and fear of being invisible. We call it anxiety, stress, overthinking. But Al-Ghazali had a different name for it. He called it the voice of the Nafs, the untamed ego. And he discovered something that modern psychology is only beginning to understand. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is the messenger. But most of us never learn to read the message. To understand his secret, you must first understand his success. Abu Hamid Al-Ghazali was born in 1058 in Persia, an orphan, a child with nothing but a brilliant mind and an unquenchable thirst for truth. By age 34, he had achieved what most scholars never reach in a lifetime. He was appointed to the prestigious Nizamiya University in Baghdad, the Oxford of the Islamic world, the Harvard of the medieval age. 300 students sat before him daily. Governors sought his counsel. Caliphs invited him to palaces. His books spread across empires. His reputation was unmatched. He had everything society tells us to chase: knowledge, recognition, influence, financial security, respect from the most powerful people in the world. And yet, inside him, something was dying. He would stand before his students and speak eloquently about truth, while feeling like a fraud. He would teach about sincerity, while his heart felt hollow. He wrote later, he had climbed the mountain society told him to climb. And when he reached the summit, he realized it was the wrong mountain. The crisis came suddenly. that it had been building for years. Al-Ghazali began to experience what he called a sickness of the heart. Not depression exactly, not burnout, though it contained elements of both. It was something deeper, a spiritual paralysis. He could speak, but his words felt empty. He could teach, but his lessons felt mechanical. He could lead, but he felt more lost than his students. The fear became unbearable. Fear that his entire life was a performance. Fear that he had become addicted to the applause of others. Fear that his soul was drifting further from truth with every passing day. But the deepest fear was this. What if he had spent decades becoming someone he was never meant to be? His body rebelled. He described it precisely. This was not stage fright. This was his soul refusing to continue the lie. He stood at a crossroads. Continue the life everyone expected and lose himself completely, or walk away from everything and risk losing everything. For 6 months he wavered, paralyzed by indecision. And then, one morning, he made a choice that would change the course of Islamic philosophy forever. He walked away. No announcement, no grand farewell, no explanation to his students. He left his position, his salary, his home, his reputation. People thought he had gone mad. Why would a man at the height of his career throw it all away? What scandal is he hiding from? Has he lost his mind? But Al-Ghazali wasn't running from something. He was walking toward something. Toward silence. Toward truth. Toward himself. For 11 years, he disappeared from public life. He wandered. Damascus, Jerusalem, Mecca, small villages where no one knew his name. He lived simply, sometimes in poverty, often alone. And in that solitude, he studied the one subject he had neglected his entire life, his own soul. In his silence, Al-Ghazali made a discovery that would become the foundation of Islamic psychology. He identified the true source of fear. Not external threats, not failure, not judgment. The source of fear is the Nafs. The word Nafs has no perfect English translation. It means ego, lower self, the part of you that clings to illusion. Al-Ghazali taught that the Nafs operates through 3 levels. First, Nafs al-Amara, the commanding self. This is the Nafs that demands, I want, I need, I deserve. It fears not getting what it wants. It fears losing what it has. This is the Nafs that kept him in Baghdad, afraid to lose his status, addicted to recognition. Second, Nafs al-Lawama, the self-accusing self. This is the Nafs that torments. You're not good enough. You're a fraud. You're failing. It fears inadequacy. It fears exposure. This is the Nafs that paralyzed him. The voice that said, if you leave, you prove everyone right about you. Third, Nafs al-Mutma'inna, the peaceful self. This is the Nafs that transcends fear. I am enough. I am becoming. I trust the process. This is what he was searching for. And here's the secret he discovered. You cannot kill the Nafs. You can only transform it. Fear is not a monster to destroy. Fear is the Nafs showing you where you are still attached, where you are still identified, where you are still asleep. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is the teacher. For years, Al-Ghazali lived in what he called spiritual seclusion. He fasted, he prayed, he meditated, he journaled. But more than anything, he observed himself. He watched his thoughts arise and pass. He noticed when his ego demanded recognition. He felt when fear tried to pull him back to his old life. And slowly, the Nafs began to transform. He learned to distinguish between the voice of fear and the voice of intuition, the voice of ego and the voice of truth, the voice that keeps you small and the voice that calls you forward. He learned to distinguish between the voice of fear and the voice of intuition, the voice of ego and the voice of truth, the voice that keeps you small and the voice that calls you forward. He wrote his masterpiece during this time, Ihya Ulam al-Din, the revival of the religious sciences. 40 books, a comprehensive guide to the inner life. But the most important book was the one written in his soul. After 11 years, he returned to the world, not because he had to, but because he was ready. Not as the man who left, but as the man he was meant to become. He taught again, but differently. His words now came from experience, not performance. His wisdom now came from transformation, not theory. He had walked through fear and found freedom on the other side. So what does Al-Ghazali's secret mean for you, for me, for anyone standing at the edge of fear right now? It means this: do not run from fear, walk toward it. When you fear failure, it means you are standing at the edge of growth. The Nafs fears growth, because growth requires death, the death of who you were. When you fear judgment, it means you are becoming someone new. The Nafs fears change, because change threatens its identity. When you fear uncertainty, it means life is opening a door. The Nafs fears the unknown, because it cannot control it. Fear is not a wall. Fear is a compass. It points you toward exactly where you need to go. Afraid to start that business? The Nafs fears losing security. Translation: you are being called to trust yourself more than your circumstances. Afraid to end that relationship? The Nafs fears being alone. Translation: you are being called to choose yourself over comfort. Afraid to speak your truth? The Nafs fears rejection. Translation: you are being called to value authenticity over approval. Afraid you're on the wrong path? The Nafs fears wasted time. Translation: you are being called to trust that every path teaches something. Al-Ghazali would tell you to do what he did. Pause. Observe. Ask, what is this fear protecting? What part of my ego is threatened? What am I being called to release? The fear will not disappear, but your relationship with it will transform. There is a horizon waiting for you. Not a destination, not a finish line, but a horizon. The place where earth meets sky, where who you are meets who you are becoming. Al-Ghazali walked toward his horizon, even though every step terrified him. And on the other side of that fear, he found what he had been searching for his entire life. Not success, not certainty, not the approval of others. He found himself, the self that was always there beneath the noise, the self that fear had been protecting by pretending to threaten. You are not weak. You are simply unaware of your strength. You are not lost. You are standing at the beginning. You are not broken. You are being reshaped. You are not your fear. You are the one who witnesses it. So walk toward the horizon. Even if your steps tremble, even if the path is unclear, even if others don't understand, walk toward it, because beyond fear is the person you were always meant to become. This is Hikmah Horizons, where ancient wisdom meets your modern journey. If this resonated with you, there is more wisdom waiting. Subscribe to walk this path with us.